Can I ask you something? Have you ever had a moment where you saw a glimpse of the person that you're capable of becoming? Maybe it was a day where you felt focused, you felt confident, you felt connected. You made the right decisions and you thought, finally, this is who I am becoming. But then somehow you ended up back in the same patterns, the same doubts, the same fears, the same habits you thought you had already moved past. And maybe, just maybe, you started asking yourself, why do I keep doing this? Why do I keep going back? Why can't I just become the person I know I'm supposed to be? Most people think the answer is simple. They think they need more discipline, more motivation, more willpower. But what if the real reason is something deeper? What if the old version of you is still trying to protect you? I think a lot of people quietly live with this frustration. They look around and they see other people changing, growing, moving forward. And they wonder, what am I missing? Because deep down, you know there is more inside you. You know there is a stronger version of yourself, a calmer version, a healthier version, a version that doesn't overreact, a version that doesn't constantly question itself, a version that trusts itself. But there is a gap between who you are today and who you know you can become. And that gap can be frustrating because it's not that you don't want to change, you do. It's not that you don't know what to do. A lot of times you do. The real question is, why do we keep returning to what we already know isn't working? And that is where we have to look deeper. Because the battle is not always about your actions. Sometimes the battle is about the identity underneath those actions. Here is something important to understand. The old version of you was not created because something was wrong with you. That version of you had a purpose. And maybe you became that person who always stayed busy because being still brought up uncomfortable feelings. Maybe you became the person who overthought everything because your mind learned that being prepared helped you avoid pain. Maybe you became the person who never asked for help because you learned that depending on others was risky. Maybe you became the person who controlled everything because uncertainty felt unsafe. Those patterns did not appear randomly. Your brain and your nervous system, they were adapting. Your nervous system has one primary job: to protect you. It is constantly scanning your environment and asking, am I safe? And here is where it gets very interesting. Your nervous system does not always know the difference between something that is familiar and something that is healthy. Sometimes it will choose familiar pain over unfamiliar growth. This is why transformation can feel so uncomfortable. Because becoming somebody new means leaving behind something old. And even when that old way is hurting you, it is still familiar. Your brain loves patterns. It loves predictability. It loves knowing what happens next. So when you start changing, a part of you may resist. You start making progress, and then suddenly you pull back. You start believing in yourself, then doubt shows up. You start moving forward, then old habits return. And you think, what is wrong with me? But maybe the better question is, what part of me is trying to protect me? Because your resistance is often not your enemy. It is information. It is showing you where healing needs to happen. This is why self-trust is such a powerful part of transformation. Every time you make a commitment to yourself and follow through, you build evidence. You're teaching your brain, I can trust myself again. But every time you repeatedly ignore yourself, you reinforce the opposite belief. You don't follow through. I can't change. This is just who I am. But identity is not fixed. It is built. Your brain changes through repetition. Your nervous system learns through experience. Small choices repeated over time become the evidence your mind uses to decide who you are. A 5-minute walk, a moment of silence, choosing patience instead of reaction, keeping one promise to yourself. Those moments matter. This is something ancient wisdom has understood for thousands of years. Scripture says, be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Notice it doesn't say become someone completely different. It says renew. There's a process of restoration, a process of removing what has covered you, who you were created to be. Modern neuroscience talks about changing pathways in the brain. Ancient wisdom talked about renewing the mind. Different language, but a similar truth. Transformation begins within. So here's the path. Stop trying to destroy the old version of yourself. Understand it. The version of you that struggled, the version of you that protected yourself, the version of you that developed these patterns was trying to help you survive. Honor that. Don't let that version of you determine your future. The question is not how do I become someone else? The question is, how do I create the safety and awareness to become who I was created to be? Start with awareness. Notice your patterns. Pause before reacting. Create space between what you feel and what you do. Regulate your nervous system through movement, breathing, silence, rest, healthy relationships, daily practices that remind your body, I am safe. I can grow. I can change. The person you're waiting on is waiting on you. But becoming that person does not happen by fighting yourself. It happens by understanding yourself, healing what needs to be healed, renewing what needs to be renewed, and learning to trust yourself again. The old version of you that got you here, be grateful for that. But you don't have to stay there. There is another version of you waiting. Not a fake version. Not a perfect version either. The version of you that has always been there beneath the fear, beneath the doubt, and the patterns. The person you were created to become. If you want practical daily tools to help you regulate your nervous system, calm your mind, and build healthier patterns, download the free Full Armor Nervous System Reset Guide. And if you want to go even deeper, explore the Full Armor 21-Day Method. The links are in the description.